So in this video, I am going to answer all of your questions, well, some of your questions that you've been asking on my Discord channel. So what tools should you get as a complete newbie to get started selling on Amazon? I recommend only a handful of tools. Number one, Keepa. Keepa is about $20 per month, and it's the absolute essential. They'll give you a price and historical analysis of each product listing. And also SellerAmp. SellerAmp is a profit calculator. Now, if you're absolutely on a budget, SellerAmp has Keepa inside of it. It's not as great as having Keepa's Chrome extension on its own, but again, if you're on an absolute budget, get SellerAmp by itself and then get Keepa later. If you have a little bit more of a budget, then get SellerAmp and then get Keepa. And the third tool that I highly recommend is getting IP Alert. IP Alert is a Chrome extension that you can easily install on your browser. And then once you have it installed, once you visit an Amazon page and you are on the product listing, it will pop up a message if it finds that the product listing is not IP compliant. Basically, if the brand has a history of issuing IP alerts and it could be a potential danger to your business, it will pop up an alert and it will warn you so that you don't buy that brand. So those are the three tools initially that I recommend that you get as a complete newbie. Are we buying from Target and your orders seem to be getting canceled? Well, so I heard that a lot, not only with Target, but with a lot of retailers for international sellers. So you are probably an international seller that is having this problem. What I recommend that you do to avoid this, to avoid order cancellations with Target and other retailers, is not to get a VPN, which is what you're probably using. Get a VPS, a virtual private server. And the difference between a VPN and a virtual private server, with a virtual private server, you are being given your own specific computer system within the company that you book it from. They will give you your own little computer with its own fixed IP address. And that will fly way more under the radar versus a VPN, because a VPN, all the IP addresses that a VPN uses are mostly blocked or blacklisted. And the other thing that you can try to do to avoid order cancellations is to not go wild. Don't order 100 units. Try to order the minimum amount of units that you need to get either free shipping or a specific discount that Target offers. Maybe like 2 or 3 units, very, very slow, especially if your account with Target is brand new. Accounts with retailers need to go through a little warm-up period, just like starting an old car. You gotta warm it up in the winter. You can't get a new account and start buying like hundreds of units. You gotta buy a little bit at a time and slowly buy more and increase your spend. Basically, you're building trust with the retailer. And that's a great way to avoid getting order cancellation with them. So this question is similar to the one before. You can, again, get IP Alert. By the way, you can get a discount, a $30 discount by going on my description. And you just get a $30 off discount coupon. But get IP Alert. If you have a question about whether a brand like Calvin Klein in this scenario is safe, which is not. Calvin Klein is IP complaint brand, so do not buy it. But if you have any second thoughts, that's a great investment. IP Alert, you should get that. And it's gonna save you from going into brands that are not safe to sell on. Now, if you can absolutely not afford IP Alert, you can manually try to see a Keepa chart for that listing and other listings for that brand. And if the Keepa chart on the offer count is how many sellers are selling that item at a specific point in time. If the Keepa chart for the offer count is kind of like steady and out of the blue goes like boom, like it plummets, that means that that brand at that specific point in the chart issued an IP complaint to all those sellers on the listing. So if there were 20 sellers, they all got a cease and desist letter or an IP complaint from Amazon directly, and they all had to remove their listing. So that tells you visually, just by looking at the Keepa chart, to not go into that product listing. But I personally do both. I look at the Keepa chart and I also have the IP alert. It's gonna save you. That software is amazing. So in this question, you're wondering if the website or the retailer myotcstore.com is a viable retailer, not a scammy retailer. And yes, from my experience buying from them, I've never had an issue with them. However, make sure to always check the following things when you are evaluating if a retailer is a scammy retailer or a legit retailer that you can buy from. Number one, see if they have Trustpilot reviews. Trustpilot is a third-party website that collects consumer reviews. And if they don't have reviews, or if they have very, very, very bad reviews, that's a good sign that it's not a legit retailer. Number two, look at Scam Advisor with S-E-R, scamadvisor.com. And that will also tell you, according to their algorithm, if that retailer or that website is a scammy website or not. Finally, look at the Whois database. The Whois database tells you stuff like when that domain was registered initially and how many years into the future that domain is scheduled to be renewed. So if you see a domain that was just recently registered, like let's say in 2023, 2024, high likelihood that this website is going to be a scammy website. If you see a website that was registered in 2001, high likelihood that that website, that company has been around for a long, long time, so it's going to be legit. And finally, the two additional things that I look at is Google reviews. Can I see Google reviews by copying and pasting the address or the phone number? If you go to the footer of their website, you will usually find About Us or Contact Us. Click in there and you'll find their contact information, their address and their phone number. Copy and paste that into Google. And if it's a legit company, you should see Google reviews. And if it has a decent amount of Google reviews and they're good reviews, then high likelihood that it's a legit website. And the last thing that I look at is the overall look and feel of the website. Does it look like a website that was made with like Shopify or Wix or one of those website makers? Or does it look like a website that a developer made and it's a lot of good navigation and a legit website? So look out for all those signs when you are evaluating whether a company that you are buying product from is legitimate or not. So you bought the keychains from Lego.com and you initially got an ungated approved application, but it seems like then later on when you went to try to sell on other Lego listings, it's still gated for you. So one or two things could have happened. Number one, the Amazon team initially ungated you, but then for some reason they regated you. If that's the case, go to your approved selling application that you initially got approved for Lego and write them a quick note saying, hey, what's up? I got approved and now it seems like I can't sell the brand that you approved me for. Obviously say in a nice way, nice and polite way. Can you please ungate Lego again? And chances are that they will ungate it. Number two is that maybe you incorrectly, the ASIN that you ungated, maybe you incorrectly pick an ASIN that was not under the Lego brand, maybe it was under a different brand. So make sure to check that the brand that you're actually ungating is the brand that you want to ungate. Do you need to provide your tax ID or reseller permit to a wholesale distributor? Yes and no, not necessarily. Some wholesale suppliers don't even require you to submit a reseller's permit or a tax ID, but most of them do. And in any case, if you are in this for the long haul, you should consider establishing a real company with an LLC, an EIN number, and then applying with the state that you're in for a reseller's permit. Because in the long term, you're gonna need all those things if you're gonna run a successful Amazon business. But initially, you can run it as an individual company. I do not recommend it, but if you have to, you have to. But I do recommend what I already said. Is anybody using Costco for online arbitrage? Absolutely. Costco is one of my favorite websites to source from. I got in really good profitable products from them. What you want to do is get tax exempt with Costco. So the membership that I have is a business executive membership. I think it's like something like $100 a year only. But then you get the money back, like depending on how much you spend with them, you get money back at the end of the year, which amounts to about the price of the membership. So basically that makes a membership free. And then once you have the membership, you can basically buy online most of their inventory, and you will not pay a non-member fee. And you will also, in most cases, get free shipping as well. Now, Costco is a wholesaler. So if you find profitable products there, it's basically like buying from a wholesale supplier. That's what many people don't understand. That many people think that it's like shopping at the supermarket. But Costco is originally meant as a wholesale supplier, so you can buy in bulk. So the good thing that they have is that there are no order cancellations. You can buy thousands of an item without the risk of being canceled, because that's what they're meant for. They want you to buy more. What I also like about Costco is that they have a lot of products that you can't find anywhere else. Similar to Trader Joe's, that they have their own brand, and Costco has Kirkland, and the Kirkland brand is very popular amongst a lot of people, and you can only find it at Costco. And guess what? Many people do not have a Costco around their house. There is no Costco, so the only way that they can buy is through Amazon if they don't have a Costco membership. So they buy from Amazon, and guess who they're buying from? Us. So you buy it at Costco, you resell at Amazon, you sell it to the customers that don't have a Costco around them, and everybody wins. This is absolutely a great question. How do you minimize Amazon FBA inbound fees? Well, since the last debacle of this April, where Amazon changed their inventory placement fees, the way that I've been personally doing it, or I've been having my prep center do it, is I use optimized splits. That's the first option when you go to your Amazon Seller Central, your FBA settings, and your inbound placement fee settings. You want to choose the first option, which is optimized splits. And what that means is that you are okay sending your boxes to multiple locations. That way you ensure that you do not pay additional inventory placement fees that can add up quite a bit. Now, if you're worried about paying additional inbound shipping for shipping to multiple locations, I found that I'm paying about the same as I was paying before what happened in April when Amazon changed their fees. One thing I noticed though is that when I have many multiples of the same unit, what Amazon does is it does not allow me to ship it with the rest of the units in the same box. And it will want me to ship the same, again, this is the same, multiples of the same as ASIN, and it will want me to ship it to 10 different warehouses. It's crazy. So in those cases, when you have a lot of the same ASIN, what you want to do is a separate shipment plan. And that shipment plan will be a case-packed plan, meaning you're gonna ship all those units in their own individual box. Only one box or several boxes just for those units. When you have multiple different ASINs, you can ship all in the same box. Now, another thing, you want to maximize your weight per box. So you want to get as close to 50 pounds, which is the absolute maximum weight limit for FBA per box. It's okay if it's like 40 pounds or 45 pounds, even 35 pounds, but anything less, you're going to incur more shipping fees. So the closer you get to 50 pounds per box, the less amount of money you're going to pay for inbound shipping fees. By the way, before I continue answering more questions, make sure to go to myoaleads.com if you want me to personally help you find profitable products every single morning. I source my own products, I share them with you via email so you can have them, so you don't have to waste your own time finding those hard to find profitable Amazon online arbitrage products. Go to this URL and I'll help you with that. What is a suppress buy box? A suppress buy box is every time that Amazon considers that the pricing of every available seller is too high compared to the competition. The competition is other retailers like Target or Walmart. If it considers it to be too high, it wants to protect Amazon customers, and they suppress the buy box, meaning they take away the buy box. That way, it's not as easy for buyers to buy the product, and so that they can double check the pricing. Because a lot of people, when they buy on Amazon, they just click on the yellow button and then they buy like that. And then maybe later on they realize that they could have gotten it for half the price at Walmart, and they probably return the product or who knows what. So Amazon wants to protect the customer experience by suppressing the buy box. Now the real question is, can you still make sales after the buy box is suppressed? Absolutely yes. I make sales all the time with the buy box suppressed, because a lot of users, what they do is they know already that they don't need the buy box. There is a little, when they are in the product listing, there is a little place where it says available from these sellers, and they click there and they usually buy from the lowest price seller. So as long as you are priced competitively, meaning you are one of the lowest price sellers, when there is a suppressed buy box, then you are good to go. So you're having a hard time finding products on your own to source from. How am I finding products? That's your question. Well, I've been doing this for a long time. So I have developed what I call an eye for online arbitrage. Once you develop the eye for online arbitrage, you're going to be able to very quickly glimpse at a Keepa chart, and within seconds determine if this is a good product or not a good product based on different signals. In addition to that, I have a lot of reference points to grab from. Not only do I spy on a huge list of competitors that I already keep track on, basically storefront stalking, I also have tens of thousands of previously sourced online arbitrage leads that are profitable products. So I can just look at cyclical events, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I have a video on this. You should check out my cyclical selling on Amazon video. Very interesting video. I made it a few months ago. And basically what that means is that those profitable products that you found at the same time of the year, last year, are very likely to be profitable again at this time, the same time, a year later, from the same retailers. And if you can't find them from the same retailers, you can always do a Google search and find them with other retailers. In addition to that, I keep an eye on clearances. I have a vast list of maybe like 3,000 retailers that I know I can source from, and brands that don't have IP complaints, that are good brands to source from. In addition to that, I use software like Online Arbitrage, Source Mogul, and a few others. And in addition to that, I manually source myself. So I have a wide variety of techniques. The best advice that I can give you is to don't get overwhelmed and gradually do it. The more you do it, the more time you do it for, the easier it's going to get. So your question is Amazon saturated with a lot of sellers in 2024? And are you able to make $10,000 to $50,000, do you say per month? Per month in 2024? Well, that is a loaded question. First of all, Amazon is not saturated. People have been saying that Amazon is saturated for selling since I started in 2015. And it's not. People that just started this year and last year are quitting their full-time jobs because they are finding success selling on Amazon. They are matching the income that they were previously getting with their full-time jobs. Now, the second part of your question is, can you feasibly make $10,000 to $50,000 a year? I'm assuming revenue that you're talking about. If it's revenue, I would say potentially it would take a lot of hard work. Maybe on the first year, you could get up to $50,000 in revenue per month. Slim chance though, because most people that are newies, that are new sellers, don't have the capital to invest. Amazon requires a lot of capital to invest and to reinvest the profits. Also recommend that you start slow at the beginning, because if you start too fast and you get carried away, you're gonna buy too much inventory, and then you're gonna make bad decisions, some bad purchases that are gonna lose you some money. So realistically, no, you should not aim to make $50,000 per month on the first year selling on Amazon. On your second and third year though, that's a different story. As I said before, a lot of sellers are able to match their full-time job income to the point that they are quitting their full-time job just by the income that they are making now with Amazon on year 2 or year 3. So a little patience, but it is totally possible in the long term. So you live in Mexico and you tried a VPN and you also tried a VPS, which is what I recommended on the other question that I answered. And you are still having no success, accessing, being able to purchase from Target and other retailers. Well, what I do recommend, if you have tried both of those and they still don't work, you should try a residential IP. Residential IPs are actually a little bit more expensive than a VPS and definitely more expensive than a VPN. But the good thing about them is that they replicate being able to log in from, let's say, a mobile device from the United States. So it's foolproof. So if you are logging in from using a residential IP service, you get high chances of flying under the radar with the retailers and for your purchases to go through. So try that out. Is there an alternative to SellerAmp? Yeah, of course. Another tool that I like using is AZ Insight. AZ Insight is not as pretty as SellerAmp. The good thing that I like about it is that it gives you variation data. I do use SellerAmp as my main profit calculator, but you can try AZ Insight. Another tool that I've never used, but I hear a lot of sellers are happy with, is reseller. Reseller, another profit calculator. So you can try those too. That's it for the Q&A of this video. If you like this type of Q&A, I have so many questions that I'm asked every single day, and I really don't have the time to sit in my computer and answer, and I much rather answer while I exercise and I walk around and I do a little workout and burn some calories. So ask your questions if you like this format. First tell me if you like this format, and then ask your questions, any questions that you have about selling on Amazon, and I'll try to answer them on the next video. And in the meantime, if you haven't checked it out already, I have a lot of free resources on Daily Hernan, dailyhernan.com, URL right here. As usual, keep up the excellent, great work and continue selling on Amazon. Get ready for Christmas season. Q4 is coming. The best time to sell on Amazon is coming, so get ready.